Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session of Pastor Doug's Midweek Bible Study. I'm joined, as you can see, by my uh, actually birthday today
Oh
boy.
boy.
Pastor Tall Doug is, what are you, 76?
66.
76?
66.
66? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And his birthday's today. Mine's tomorrow.
And you're going to be,
So 68.
I wasn't going to
Yeah,
guess. I
yeah.
was pretty close. I
I
knew that.
think your hair is actually lighter than mine, to be honest with you.
Well,
See
I
it?
tell
I
you,
got some dark spots going on
I've been
there.
calling it gray for a long time, but I've been told more and more lately it's white.
White.
So I've been corrected. Yes.
That's
Yes.
because you're pastoring. That's why it's white. That's kind of what happens with us. Really glad everybody's here. As you know, we did not have our services last week because of the snow, and I was beginning a series talking about resetting your life, and I'm really excited about that. I just wanted to talk about it in general, about what that means and what that's like. We I'm going to use an example in my message on Sunday about not too long ago. I was at home working on my phone and stuff, and all of a sudden it like froze up, right?
Hmm.
And what we normally do, or what I normally do, is look for the youngest person in the room. And in this case, it was my son Douglas was there with Robin and I, and he said, "Dad, let me see it." And he takes my phone and he looks at it, and he's doing some things, and he goes, "You got too many apps open here." And I said, "Well, I didn't do it because I don't know what an app is." But he goes through and then he starts doing this, boom, 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 boom. He said there's 14 or I don't know how many apps were open, and it kind of bogged my phone down,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't do anything. And then he said, "I'm going to turn it off for a while, let it reset, and then you should be good to go." And he did exactly that, and the phone was good to go. And so in our lives, we kind of know what that's like. In Pennsylvania, every year you're required to have an inspection on your car or truck, and they're looking at the brakes and mainly safety issues and things. But
Hmm.
it's always a good time. I always have my oil done, whether it's due or not. I get my tires rotated, kind of when you get back in the vehicle, hey, this thing's been reset. All of the lights and electronics that have come on are now off, and you're reset and you're good to go. And that's what I want to get into in this series about how we do that type of reset with our lives. All of us have had to do things. I was thinking about like when you got out of the Navy.
Hmm.
Now you're not in service. Now you're resetting your life, and it's different.
Huge change because the military essentially owns you. There's
Hmm.
no 9 to 5 type jobs, so your day consists of whatever it takes to get the job done. And that's not unusual for all the branches of the military. And you sign up for that, you expect that. It's no surprise. And then you get back into what we call the civilian world, normal jobs, and a whole different set of rules. Like, well, kind of like you get your rights back. What do you mean I get an
You got your
extra?
rights back.
I
I
get
like
I
that.
get I get double time if I work over certain hours. I mean, it was just kind of an adjustment. Of course, the biggest adjustment for me coming from the military is the airlines uh, paid the new guys next to nothing. So I took a 50% pay cut
Really?
leaving the Navy, going to the airlines.
Wow.
And then about the third year, I was back to the same point. And then over the years, made more. So it worked out. But it did feel like I got some control of my life back.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think that's interesting. 'Cause so it's fair to say many times through our lives we're going to do kind of a reset, if you will, thinking about going from grade school to the middle school. I know my grandkids had talked about that. It was such a
Hmm.
big deal, and how much they enjoyed the freedom. And now we're going from classroom to class rather than staying in the same class. And so through our lives, we have lots of times that we do resets. A lot of times at the beginning of the year, you might do a health reset. I'm going to start exercising more, or I'm going to eat better, and all of that's all good stuff. So resets are not unfamiliar, they're familiar. We kind of understand how it works, what it means, and I think a lot of the productivity that can come from a reset is how detailed you are and
Hmm.
how committed you are. I know Melissa does our Fit for Life ministry here at church, and it's kind of like what I have learned from being there is identifying what it is we're actually doing right now
Hmm.
and the harm that it does in the different foods and stuff.
there's so much we don't know. And it's shocking to me at now 66 years of age. You think, I thought you have pretty much things worked out. I thought our mankind would have things worked out. But in fact, um, what most of us think as of just the way it is in general knowledge really isn't what's best for us. We have a whole lot of stuff that we eat that fills us up, so I'm satisfied, I'm not hungry, but it's not really giving us the nutrition and the things we need to be healthy. And I will say very cynically, but also very accurately, that a lot of the food manufacturers are in it just for the money.
Hmm.
They have I get it, they've got a profit to make, but some of the stuff that they produce and put on the shelves is actually detrimental to our health. So it becomes incumbent upon ourselves to be our own advocate and to learn what is really healthy and what isn't.
I think too, I think all of us are a product of that, if you
Hmm.
will. You get that feeling and it's designed that it has that taste that you think tastes good, or you've learned that tastes good. You've learned to crave that. It's scary to me in learning some of the details of what's in a lot of these things that we think taste so good. But I think you, like me, boy, when it's over, then it really hits you like, whoa,
Hmm.
what's going on? And it's a controlling kind of thing. I know, we face that in lots of different ways. Um, uh, Melissa talked a little bit and said something about caffeine headaches, and I know what that's like, a
Hmm.
caffeine headache. And then you're kind of thinking like, what am I doing? Why would I do something that gets a hold of me in such a way that then it's painful to leave? But when we talk about our spiritual lives, and that this is where I'm getting into the spiritual resets that we do, I'm talking about even established Christians, even folks that have been Christians for decades, because I'm of the understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we should be growing all the time
Hmm.
spiritually. We should be moving towards closer relationship with God all the time. And that doesn't happen by accident. It only happens on purpose. If I think, well, I'm just going to go to church every Sunday because that's what I've always done, and hey, I never miss, and that's a good thing to say. But am I going to really grow by just doing that? Or is there more involved to grow as a
Right.
Christian?
Right. Good point. The Apostle Paul said that addressing new Christians, he called them baby Christians, and he fed them with milk and honey because that's the level of that's the depth of information that they could handle. That doesn't mean that you're not saved. That just means that you don't understand all that there is to learn. And frankly, it's a lifelong pursuit. It doesn't matter how many times we've read the Bible or we've gone to Bible studies, we're learning more each and every time.
Mhm.
And if we think that we will ever attain a point like, okay, I've been doing this for 10 years now, I got it all figured out. Then you learn something the next day going, oh man, I don't have a clue still. There's so much I don't know. The Apostle Paul, who wrote what, about a third of the New Testament, he said, to the end of his life, I still don't understand it all. So it does talk about, the Bible talks about how the Christian life is a marathon, not a sprint, and that our objective, our goal is to finish strong. So yeah, these bodies, as Pastor teaches often, our bodies are deteriorating. We don't work the way we used to, or yeah, I got things falling off the side of my face here and hair that used to be brown, but it is my goal to finish strong and just keep going for as long as God allows us here. But yeah, we just have to stay at it. And as these bodies deteriorate, there's so much we can still do with sharing God's word. We don't have to be a young, strong athlete to make an impact. You can talk to your kids, your grandkids, your coworkers. You have opportunities all the time to share God's love.
I know for me, I keep learning all the time. I've been a pastor for over 20 years, and I'm still learning, and God's still revealing things to me and things about me that it's so much fun to realize when you just sit back a little bit and think, wow, that's, why didn't I get that before? Or how easy would it have been to have thought that way and accepted that truth of God before, so I didn't have to struggle to this point with it. And then I'm thinking, what else does he have for me? What else
Hmm.
is he teaching me, trying to show me? And I just love that concept that there's always more. I think just we traditionally think that we've done this for such a long time. We've got it figured out. We know how this walk with God actually works, but it is a daily process. And so, what I'm going to get into in this series is how all of us, even the established Christians, can do a reset and what that
Hmm.
looks like. And just a kind of a new, clean commitment to God, understanding what the relationship is supposed to be all about and how it actually works. Kind of like, and this would make sense to you, a recommitment in your marriage, a
Hmm.
reconnection to your wife. And in fact, in February, I want to promote that this year, and don't let me forget that.
Okay.
That we do a recommittal of our wedding vows to our wives. We did that years and years ago. It's such a touching time for me. We did it the last time I think was after the service. Were you here then? It's been that long ago. We did it
I think I was here.
after the
Yes.
service, and everybody stood up with their spouse, and we said the vows to each other again. And to me, it was such a cool thing that we did,
Hmm.
and I was really pleased with the outcome. And it actually touched me more than I thought. I thought I'm just going to go through the motion there, but looking into the eyes of my wife and understanding all of the years that we've had and all the water under the bridge that has gone by, it was really a neat concept. So resetting is good. Or resetting maybe can be good,
Hmm.
right? It can be good. Now there's other resets where, hey, I'm getting out of this marriage, I'm just going to start over, or there's bankruptcy and things like that. And some of that is just parts of life, and I get it. But I want to take a look at the positives of a reset and what that can mean spiritually. How do you do that? What does it look like? What are the steps that are involved? I think you're really going to enjoy it. So I hope you'll be here on Sunday. It's the message that we had prepared for last week. We're going to do it this week and kick this thing off. And I'd love to see you again. Any final words on reset, old man, since you're turning the pages of time
Well,
again today?
just in the airplane, we did the same thing. When something wasn't working right, we'd shut it off and turn it back on. Now
Okay.
that's kind of hard to do in the air,
Yeah.
but
I kind of noticed that a couple times. Wait a minute, what happened?
on the
There we go.
ground, you would okay, this box isn't working right, and you'd call maintenance, and they'd come out and they'd turn the power off and turn it back on, and 9 times out of 10, that
Wow.
would fix the problem. So yeah, we all seem to get our wires crossed a little bit,
Hmm.
and just turning taking that power off for a second and putting it back on can help get us back on the right path.
I think if we look at it like, what does God have for me? What do you have, Lord? Do you have something else for me? Is there another step? Is there something I should be thinking about or doing? Or how can I move closer to you? Uh, if it's possible to move closer to God, wouldn't you want to do that? Wouldn't you want to see what that's all about? Feel what that feels like? I certainly would, and we're going to get into that a little bit in the next coming weeks. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our midweek Bible study. God bless you. Love all you guys and everything. And the next time you see me, I will be older. God bless you. Thanks for being a part.